Hey, what's going on, you guys? My name is Rage, and we are back today to deep dive and take a look at the Mercs for money in terms of where they stack up against other powerful teams, whether or not you should be building this team, as well as what to look out for, especially in the coming weeks here with these characters coming from the Mercs for money team. So first and foremost, in case you guys missed the information that's crucial to the team breakdown, the 5 members for this team is respectively Old Man Logan as a legendary character. We got Wolverine's son in Dawkins. We got both Deathpool and Deadpool, the father-daughter combination. And finally, we do have Pandapool being the fan favorite poll that has concluded now. So those are the 5 members that are getting added into this Mercs for Money team, and also being the newest legendary team that's going to be part of the Old Man Logan synergy there. So let's talk about quickly why you may want to invest in this team, because of the fact that they are going to be pretty meta changing. If you guys are interested in Alliance War, they're going to be the top tier war offense team. And especially with Old Man Logan, he does have a unique mechanic in the sense that he also has a revive, but as well his claws out is just absolutely devastating. He can generate a lot of ability energy for himself. So it's going to be interesting to see how he shakes things up. I definitely think he's going to have more value than just being in war. For sure, there's going to be opportunities to take advantage in Arena, as well as Dark Dimension, and even Crucible. So this is a character you may very well want to focus in on. As for the team, it remains to be seen how they're going to be synergizing in the different game modes, but we'll definitely be taking a look at that once they are live. There's a strong possibility, guys, we've already seen this in the past, is that doesn't seem like any team is skippable anymore in Marvel Strike Force. So is there a possibility that they may be required for a future legendary event? It can be likely. If you recall, last year, Nova and his Nowhere team got released, and they were actually required for Black Cat. And then following that, we actually did need some members of, the Secret Defenders or Black Cat herself for even Green Goblin Classics unlock. So just it always seems to build off of each other. You have to remember that Scopely is after profits and revenues, and it does make sense that if you're investing in a new team, that they're going to be utilized elsewhere. So just something to be mindful of if you guys are planning to skip this team. I wouldn't recommend it, just because it also features a meta changing tune in Old Man Logan. And then finally, I do strongly believe that there's going to be some sort of relationship or synergy here with Xavier in the 2025 Dark Dimension release. Remember, this is Age of X, right? So all these character releases, especially in the form of legendary, do have some specific rationale behind it, and I'm sure we're going to see that kind of synergy later on release. But in the meantime, I'm sure they're on the drawing boards and trying to determine what that's going to be. But is it a coincidence that Old Man Logan is a mutant character and he's the first legendary in the Age of X kind of stage that's been set up? I don't think so. I think there's going to be a very important role that he plays later on, and why not get started with one of the newest and hottest legendary characters that's joining the game. So I do want to quickly just go over, guys, in case you guys are interested here. These are actually the uniques involved here for each of the 5 characters. So the nice thing is that they're all diverse. They're all unique. Adamantium for Old Man Logan. We got the Unstable Cloth here for Dawkins. Deathpool's got obviously the miasma here. We have Experimental Oz Formula for Deadpool. And then finally, we do have Pandapool here with the Hammer Tech. It's definitely interesting because this Hammer Tech has really gotten quite popular in the recent weeks and months, just because of how diverse now this resource is becoming. So just something to be mindful of. The good news about all this is that Deathpool has already been leveled up. Most folks likely already have her at Gear Tier 17, level 90, so that's a nice add. Obviously, Deadpool needs a lot of work because I think many folks have skipped him, but Logan and Dawkins are going to be nice additions into the game, and I do appreciate the fact that they're very similar, but they use a different unique. So that was a nice touch by Scopely, not to kind of over crowd one specific unique for this team, especially with them being quite diverse, and they're all mutant characters with the exception of Deathpool. So guys, this is the meat and potatoes of my video. This is what I love to talk about because you've seen all the kits from the envoys and content creators, so I don't want to go too much into the details until the gameplay actually goes live. Also, it takes me time to unlock because I am free to play, but what I love taking a look at is their stats, where they stack up against the other meta teams in the game, because this gives you guys a nice little blueprint on terms of the characters to focus in on, because as we know with the game, the best characters are the newest characters, and this team is absolutely no exception. So Before I get started here and work my way top down, just to recap again, we like to take a look at where they stack up against the other characters as per the MarvelStrikeForce.com statistics as provided. S tier is anybody that's in the top 25 ranking. A is top 50. B is top 100, and then finally C is top 200. If there's any adjustments in between, you can add a minus or a positive sign, so that way you can gauge, how much stronger they are moving in that direction. Now, what I've also done is I've taken a look at basically, in my honest opinion, the most important core stats that's relative to any kind of character, and that's HP, the damage, the armor, and the speed, because these 3 or 4 stats are essentially what makes up the entirety of a character's kind of overall gameplay, right? Yes, resistance and focus and all that does play a factor, but it's not more important than these ones I've listed, and it really does give you a relative level of where they kind of stand against the other characters in the team. So, obviously, there's some shining stars here, so I'm going to work my way top down, guys. Old Man Logan is the 7th highest character in HP and number 3 in damage, with a B- in armor and a pretty decent speed at 120. He's obviously the most important character on this team. As you can see, he definitely got the majority of the generous stats added to him. I don't think armor is going to be a big issue because he has a revive mechanic as well. And again, he's going to be doing so much damage with his ultimate and so forth. I don't think that's going to be a cause for concern. He's very statistically gifted on this war-based team. Then we got Wolverine's son in Doc in here. Not the best in HP. B plus is it's pretty average. A in damage is pretty modest as well. But what he's gonna be adding is that supportive synergy and the offensive output he's bringing to the team. So obviously with the stats, it ignores the kit-based stuff here. So that's the one thing that's misleading here. But yeah, similar armor to Old Man Logan. Again, I don't expect this team to be tanky because they're really offensively based. And even a speed at 119, this is a really good team in terms of speed. They're all, they're not molasses slow. They're also not super fast, but they're going to be getting, the turn advantage against many teams in the game. Then we got the fan favorite here, Pandapool. A- in HP. That was a surprise because I was thinking he was going to be more of the tankier character, but he's got a lot of kind of kit-based synergies with his survivability, remember, right? He can have a revive mechanic as well. He's got a B+ in damage, and he's actually got the 5th highest armor in the game, so that's where he's going to be taking up a lot of the damage and soaking it in. And again, having that revive mechanic is going to, obviously spill out more tanking and sustain than what the stats here say. He is the slowest member, but that's okay. He doesn't need to be fast because, again, he's going to be the one that's kind of taking in the damage and protecting the team. Then, nice. We have one of the original Strike characters, and I'm very happy with this rework. Although it was slight, she was already really gifted in the game, but now she's even more gifted with the stats, right? S tier in both HP and damage, and A- armor. Again, this team is not known for being armor, but also the highest speed on the team. So Deathpool's going to always get the first turn, and then likely Old Man Logan's going to follow up. But I love how balanced Deathpool is. I also love the fact that everyone's got invested in her already. So, I mean, you're probably not going to have to pour anything into her unless you want to bring her up all the way to gear tier 18 or beyond. And then finally, we got actually the stat favorite in this analysis, which is Deadpool. He got some huge reworks here. His HP now sitting comfortably at A. He's got an S- here in damage, a C- in armor, and even his speed got a slight bump up in the rework. So Deadpool is a very, very balanced character now, which I appreciate. So across the board, guys, just on average, you can see that this team is very good on HP, right? They're not the best by any means, but remember, what doesn't state out in the stats here is the fact that they have a very good survivable team because half the team can actually revive based on their mechanic. We got them actually being top ranking damage, so you can see where their offensive output's going to be coming. That's why I do think there's going to be a lot of value beyond just war because they're very strong in offense here. And then armor is nothing to sing home about, but I mean, at the end of the day, they're also not garbage, so pretty mediocre here. Thankfully, Pandapool is one of the best armor in the game, so he's going to be soaking up a lot of that. And again, they're a really good speedy team, so they're going to be getting the edge over many enemies that they're up against. So finally, I do like to point out 2 teams that I referenced here, so that way you guys can get a sense of where they stack up against 2 strong metas, right? We have Out of Time here, and this is the war bonuses that you see impacted, and as you can see, they're quite comparable to Out of Time. Out of Time is a little bit tankier in terms of the HP component, but they have way more damage output than the Out of Time characters. Remember, Out of Time is more mechanic based as well with their kit, but also they do have lower armor than Out of Time, which makes sense because they're not a tanky team. They're offensively based. So, and speed is pretty comparable actually to Out of Time. I've also put the Secret Defenders here because they're still easily a top 3, top 5 team in the game, and basically the gold standard for what we expect, right? And as you can see, they're right on there with the Secret Defenders comparison. The Secret Defenders is basically A across the board, with the exception of them being actually a very quick team. And they stack up exceptionally well because they actually have higher damage and comparable HP to the Secret Defenders. So overall, guys, this is going to be a very, very good team, in my honest opinion, in all game modes, the majority of game modes, especially Old Man Logan. If there's anyone to invest in this team, prioritize Old Man Logan because he is going to bring you value in all game modes. I'm definitely planning on bringing this team up because there's value to be had beyond war, which is awesome to see. And once again, this is going to be the newest team coming to the game, so they're always going to be statistically gifted for quite some time. And war teams do last longer based on what we've seen in the past as well. So let me know what you guys think in comments below. I know it's a lot because it is 4 mutant characters, and we just previously already invested in the Extreme X-Men for incursion rates, but this is definitely not a team you guys want to skip, and a super exciting legendary in Old Man Logan. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.